Every predator on this list shares one thing. By the time you realize it is there, it is already too late. Some are smaller than your thumb, some are invisible in the water, and some have been sitting perfectly still, watching you, for far longer than you would ever believe. These are 10 creatures that can kill you before you ever see them coming. And the first one is hiding in plain sight, right where you would step. The puff adder does not chase you. It does not need to. Found across the savannas and grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa, this thick, slow-moving viper is a master of stillness. Its dull, mottled skin blends so perfectly with dry grass and leaf litter that it becomes effectively invisible on the ground. And unlike faster snakes that flee at the sense of footsteps, the puff adder does the opposite. It freezes, it trusts its camouflage completely, and it will lie motionless as a person walks closer and closer until a foot comes down. That single behavior is what makes it so deadly. Bites almost always land on the lower legs and feet of people who never saw the snake at all. It is widely regarded as responsible for more human deaths than any other snake in Africa. Not because its venom is the strongest, but because it lives everywhere people walk, and because it refuses to move. Its strike, when it finally comes, is one of the fastest in the snake world. With prompt antivenom, most bites are survivable. The problem is that in the rural areas where it lives, that treatment is often hours away. And if you think staying out of the grass keeps you safe, our next creature proves the danger does not end at the water's edge. The most venomous fish in the ocean is not a shark. It cannot even swim well. It is a rock, or at least, that is what it wants you to believe. The stonefish, found across the shallow reefs and sandy bottoms of the Indo-Pacific, is the undisputed champion of underwater camouflage. Its lumpy, mottled body looks exactly like an encrusted stone, and it sits half-buried and completely still for hours. Along its back stand up to 13 stout dorsal spines, each connected to venom glands. The fish cannot aim them at you. It does not have to. The spines work by pressure alone. When a wader steps down on what looks like a harmless rock, their own weight drives those spines into their foot and pumps the venom in. The result is described as some of the most excruciating pain a human can feel, and without treatment, a severe sting can kill an adult within hours. Here is the honest part. Deaths are actually rare because an effective antivenom has existed since 1959, and hot water helps break the venom down. But in remote island communities far from any hospital, this invisible rock has quietly killed for generations. Not everything that kills you underwater is disguised as a stone. Sometimes it is disguised as the most beautiful thing you have ever seen. On beaches and reefs across the tropics, there is a shell so stunning that people cannot resist picking it up. Intricate patterns, a glossy surface, the perfect souvenir to slip into a pocket. That is exactly how the cone snail kills. The geography cone is the most venomous of all cone snails, and it hides a weapon that seems impossible for a slow, plodding mollusk. Concealed inside is a hollow, harpoon-like tooth. When the snail is handled, it fires that tooth out like a dart, injecting a cocktail of hundreds of toxins in an instant. The sting can be almost painless at first. That is part of the horror. By the time the venom takes hold, it can cause total paralysis and respiratory failure, and there is no antivenom. Doctors can only keep a victim breathing on a ventilator and hope the toxins fade. Its nickname says everything. They call it the cigarette snail because the grim joke is that once it stings you, you have just enough time left to smoke one last cigarette. Quick thing before we go deeper. If this is already making you look at the ground, the water, and every pretty shell a little differently, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel, and I promise the entries only get more unsettling from here. Now, back to it. Our next creature is small enough to sit in the palm of your hand, and it carries enough venom to kill 26 grown adults. The blue-ringed octopus lives in the tide pools and shallow reefs of the Indo-Pacific, often in exactly the kind of water where people wade and children play. For most of its life, it is a drab, dull brown, nearly impossible to notice among the rocks. Those famous blue rings only flare up when it feels cornered and is about to bite, which means by the time you see the warning, you are already too close. Its venom is tetrodotoxin, a neurotoxin more than 1,000 times more potent than cyanide, and there is no anti-venom for it. The bite itself is tiny and often completely painless. Many victims never realize they have been bitten until their body begins to shut down. The toxin causes total paralysis while leaving the victim fully conscious. You cannot move, you cannot speak, and eventually you cannot breathe, all while being completely aware of what is happening to you. The only thing that saves people is immediate CPR and hours on a ventilator until the paralysis wears off. So far, we have stayed near the sea, but this next killer waits somewhere much closer to home. You do not have to travel to a remote reef to meet a creature that can kill you. Sometimes it is in your garden or curled up inside the shoe by your back door. The Sydney funnel web spider, found within about 100 kilometers of one of Australia's largest cities, is considered by many to be the most dangerous spider on Earth. What makes it so frightening is a mix of habitat and speed. These spiders wander into suburban yards, fall into swimming pools where they can survive for hours, and shelter in dark, cool places, exactly like a discarded boot. The male's venom is fast, and it is potent. Its fangs are so hard they can pierce a fingernail or push through a soft shoe. In the worst untreated cases, a bite can kill in as little as 15 minutes. Now for the honest part, and it is a genuine success story. Since an antivenom was developed in 1981, deaths have been all but eliminated. But that history is exactly why the spider is respected. Before that breakthrough, at least 13 people were killed by a spider most of them never saw until it was already on them. Up to now, our creatures have been small. That is about to change, because the deadliest ambush hunters on the planet are the ones big enough to see you as a meal. The leopard is the most successful big cat on Earth, and it is also the most silent. Unlike lions that roar and live in the open, the leopard is a creature of shadow. It hunts almost entirely at night. It is a master at using cover, and it can move within meters of a person without making a single sound. That stealth is precisely why, when a leopard turns man-eater, it is far harder to stop than a lion or a tiger. The legendary hunter Jim Corbett, who tracked man-eaters across India, said man-eating leopards were more terrifying to pursue than tigers for exactly that reason. They come in the dark, and they are gone before anyone can react. The most infamous was the leopard of Panar, believed to have killed around 400 people in northern India in the early 1900s. These cats have walked straight into houses through open doors and windows, taking people as they slept. And in almost every recorded case, a leopard only turns to hunting humans after an injury, a broken jaw, a porcupine quill, a gunshot wound, leaves it unable to catch its normal prey. The tragedy is that the deadliest stalker in the forest is often a wounded animal doing the only thing it still can. A leopard at least walks on land where in daylight you might have a chance. Our next predator gives you no such warning because it strikes from a world you cannot see into. There is a reason that in northern Australia the rule is brutally simple. If there is no sign telling you the water is safe, you assume there is a crocodile in it. The saltwater crocodile is the largest reptile alive, able to exceed 6 meters and weigh over a ton. And it is one of the very few animals that will hunt a human with no hesitation at all. To a big saltwater croc, a person at the water's edge is simply food of the right size. What makes it a perfect killer is the ambush. It floats motionless with only its eyes and nostrils above the surface, indistinguishable from a drifting log, and it can hold that position for hours. It even learns. There are documented cases of these crocodiles studying the daily routine of people who visit the same spot on a riverbank, then positioning themselves at that exact spot and waiting. When the strike comes, it is explosive, and it is almost impossible to survive. The animal seizes its victim and drags them under into a death roll before they can even understand what happened. Estimates suggest saltwater crocodiles kill somewhere between 300 and 1,000 people every year, though many attacks in remote areas are never recorded. Crocodiles rule the rivers, but out in the open ocean there is a hunter that has perfected the art of striking from directly beneath your feet. Most people picture a shark attack as a fin cutting toward them across the surface. The reality of the great white is far worse, because you almost never see the fin. The great white is an ambush predator that hunts from below. It hangs in the darker water beneath its prey, looking up, using the silhouette of a seal or a surfer against the bright surface above. Then it powers straight upward in a single vertical rush, often breaching clear out of the water with its target already in its jaws. For the victim, there is no approach to spot and no time to react. The first sign of the shark is the strike itself. It carries rows of serrated teeth and a bite force unmatched by any fish, and while great whites often release a human after that first exploratory bite, that one bite is frequently enough. Here is the fair context. Fatal great white attacks are genuinely rare. Only a handful happen worldwide each year, and you are far more likely to drown than to ever meet one. But of all the ways the ocean can kill you, being hit from below by an animal you never saw is among the most primal fears we have. A shark, at least, is enormous. Our final two creatures prove that the thing which kills you before you see it does not need to be big at all. In fact, the deadliest ones are the ones you can barely see. In the warm coastal waters of northern Australia and Southeast Asia drifts what many scientists consider the most venomous marine animal on the planet, and you almost certainly would not see it. The box jellyfish has a body that is roughly 95% water and nearly transparent, a pale blue ghost that is practically invisible against the sea. Trailing behind it are tentacles that can reach 3 meters long, each one lined with millions of microscopic stingers. You do not have to provoke it. You only have to swim into tentacles you could never have seen. And the venom is not just deadly, it is astonishingly fast. After a severe sting, cardiac arrest can occur within just 2 to 5 minutes, faster than any help could possibly arrive. The pain is immediate and overwhelming. Chironex fleckeri, the most dangerous species, has been linked to at least 79 recorded deaths in Australia alone, and researchers believe the true toll across the wider Indo-Pacific is far higher, with many deaths never officially recorded. There is an anti-venom, and there is real debate over how well it works. But the brutal truth of the box jellyfish is timing. It can kill you in the time it takes to swim back to shore, and yet, for all its speed, The box jellyfish is not the creature that has killed the most humans before they saw it coming. Not even close. The deadliest animal on this list is one that is probably in the room with some of you right now. It weighs almost nothing. You have swatted 100 of them without a second thought, and it has killed more human beings than every other animal on this list combined by a margin that is almost impossible to comprehend. The mosquito is, by a wide margin, the deadliest animal on Earth. It does not stalk you, it does not ambush you, and it does not need venom. Its weapon is the diseases it carries: malaria, dengue, yellow fever, Zika, West Nile, and more, injected through a bite so small you often never feel it. The scale is staggering. Mosquito-borne diseases kill somewhere between 725,000 and over 1,000 people every single year. Malaria alone, spread by the Anopheles mosquito, caused an estimated 597,000 deaths in 2023, most of them young children. Now, hold that against everything you have just seen. The saltwater crocodile kills up to 1,000 people a year. The box jellyfish, a few dozen. The mosquito kills more people in a single day than most of these predators kill in a decade, and it does it in complete silence. The reason it belongs at number 1 is not just the body count. It is that this is the ultimate creature that kills before you see it. There is no fin, no shadow, no warning rings, no death roll. There is only a faint bite in the dark, and days or weeks later, an illness that arrived without ever revealing its source. The most dangerous animal in the history of our species is not a monster. It is an insect you could balance on the tip of your finger. Every creature on this list shares one quiet, terrifying trait. By the time you knew it was there, the decision had already been made for you. The reef, the riverbank, the grass, even your own backyard. None of them are ever quite as empty as they look. Of course, there are other silent killers I could have included, and I am sure some of you are already picturing one. So, tell me down in the comments, which creature should have made the list? Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.